We will decide who comes to this country and the circumstances in which they come.
If you had a choice to rescue your kids and your wife from that situation of being permanently disfigured, and the only solution was to get on the boat, whether you are certified or not as a refugee, to get them from that situation, would you take that trip?
Serve your bastards right.
I murdered someone. I could not be put in prison indefinitely because that is considered too cruel punishment. That is below our human rights standards if I murdered someone. These people are put in prison with no prospect of getting out. They are put in a prison and not given a timeline for their release. That is inhumane.
As a dad, I don't think getting my kids out of one bad situation into, I suppose, what I call a safe haven, and then to again put them at risk by getting on a boat, I can't get my head around that it's not safe and irresponsible. I'm compassionate towards refugees of all persuasions, but don't get on a boat. I can't say that's okay.
It needs to be realised that thousands of refugees come every year by plane and no one really blinks an eye.
The way that they are treated in the processing centres in Manus Island and in Nauru is a violation of their human rights.
You know, it's basically they're at the mercy of the system.
People who come here without any documentation by boat should be immediately expatriated.
You have to do whatever you have to do, sir, to get your family and yourself from that situation.
It certainly doesn't do anything for Australia's reputation as a global citizen.
And the government has to do a lot more to try and sort this out.
I get it entirely why they get on boats. I just wish they didn't have to.
We really demonise these people, and I think we need to remember that these are human beings. They are not taking this journey lightly. They're trying to save their lives and make a better life for their family.
And we do have a responsibility to do that. I think we should increase our humanitarian level, our intake. I think we should. I think it's the right thing to do. But it has to be done in an orderly process. We have every right to protect our borders, and we have every right to know who's coming into this nation and to manage that appropriately.
From every country in the world, there are good and bad people.
They've jumped the queue and that they don't deserve to be settled permanently in Australia.
I don't think that there is any sort of convincing argument to hold kids in detention for this period of time.
You can't have all the people from another country coming in.
People don't recognise what asylum seekers are. You know, they stigmatise them with, you know, and people don't recognise what asylum is. It's, you know, people are seeking asylum from potential death.
Australia does have a legal obligation to accept refugees and asylum seekers regardless of the means of transport on which they arrive.
Process them. Tell them when they're going to get out. They are human beings, because you know what? I know enough history and I've lived enough to know that they are human beings, and I don't care where they come from.
Asylum seekers are just migrants. The Australian government's really demonised asylum seekers.
Government has done a lot to get children out of detention, and that's a very good thing, obviously, but we still have somewhere between 400 and 500 children in detention at the moment, and many of them have been there for months and months and months, and some of the children, you know, we've been talking about have been there for over a year.
Is an apolitical issue which kind of needs to be dealt with at a more global level. It's more that just the fact that, you know, they're arriving by boat and the media is speculating so much about it. It kind of becomes perceived as these people who are arriving in hordes without passports, completely different from us, different race from us, and that they're potentially encroaching on our way of life and the prosperous life that we have built for ourselves here.